Hi, it's me again with Corel Drill Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this photo. Evidently, they're making wrestling belt holders. I'm guessing they could put their black belt or the white belt or blue belt on this holder. Evidently, they're, I don't know what branch of karate or jujitsu or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter, but that's what I'm gathering. It's a belt holder, and he was questioning how to do this. He said and this is for a plasma cutter. And first of all, I would pick a better font than the one I picked. I'd pick a more, when you're plasma cutting, this would work really good in wood, but not too much in plasma cutting. So we're going to go to range and convert our text to a curve. We're going to left click. We're going to right click. We are going to duplicate this right now. So we're going to take well, I'm not going to try to duplicate it exactly, and you will have to do some measuring. We want it about that thick, and we want the lines to be curved. So let's go 0.6, and you kind of want to meet where they're meeting, where that node goes away in the center, so you get a perfect arch. And you can figure that out by how wide it is. And I have no clue how these are. We're going to set our nudge distance pretty low. I'm going to nudge this up. I'm not really caring if I'm in the center, but you would want to make sure you're in the center between the G and the other part. We're going to take all this and we're going to weld it. But before we do that, let's set our nudge factor on something different, like 2 inches. Let's take this shape and Control D and make a duplicate. And I'll show you why in just a second. Let's take this and weld it. Let's take this shape, and it's 1.6 inches wide. So let's go to Effects, Contour, and we're going to contour it to the inside just a half of an inch to see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. You could figure out the math of what it needs to be, but I'm not doing the file for you. I'm just letting you know. Then go to Arrange and break the contour apart and bring that in and move it up that 2 inches. We didn't change our nudge distance. And then hit delete and get rid of that other one. Now I had to keep looking back at the picture to see what was going on. And you could do this mathematically. Parallel dimension tool, this thing, the opening is 2.22 inches. So we'll just remember that. And we're going to build tell you what, let's move this out of the way for a second. Let's Control G and group that, and let's hit P, because we need to make sure we're in the center of the page. Then I'm going to build that little part in the center. I'm going to make it a half of an inch wide, 0.5. Doesn't really matter. It could be a little longer than it needs to be. Let's make it a half inch with this unlocked, it's a half inch wide by 0.75. Now I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. So that's the center of our object. And we could do two things here, but we're going to do it this way. Our nudge factor still set on 1 inch. Let's change it to 0.02. And let's nudge this thing down where we need it to be. And I've kind of got to look at the picture. All we're trying to do is connect these two pieces together. So let's nudge this down till it encompasses this black. And that's what we needed. Now we're going to Control D that part. And this is where you'd have to do some measuring. You've got, if you want it uniform, like I've got it pretty uniformed. I just kind of eyeballed it. I think I made a copy of that. I did. I'm going to put it way over here to this edge. And remember, we were 20 I rounded it off somehow. I was 20.22 inches. So we're going to put this guy like right at the edge of our item. So it's right at the edge. We're going to make another duplicate and move it all the way to the other side. And if I hold down the control button, it'll stay equal. Let's see how close we are to the other side. We need to Go down a little bit more. We're pretty good. Now we have, well, let's see the distance between here to here. Maybe that'll help us in math. Let's take the distance between that line and that line, and we've got 9.37. So without getting out a calculator, I'm going to divide that in, well, let's get out a calculator. 9.37 divided by 2. So we need to move it 4.685. Change our nudge distance of 4.685. 4.685. And let's nudge this guy in. Whoop. Let's do the same on this guy. That's pretty proportionate. I would do some double checking and everything. But we need to actually move this guy down, or these two down. So let's just make it a 1/2 inch movement. And let's move this, whoop, one time did it. Now, we need to break all this off so this piece stays together. So let's get our virtual segment delete key and delete a line through there. So that's our piece that's holding it. This time we need to keep the other pieces. So we want to do this, whoop. I need to hold down the Alt key to make sure I don't do that again. Alt key will help me draw a straight line. Now you're probably asking, well, how are you going to make the corners round? Well, that's very easily. So we want to take the Smart Fill tool and fill this in. We'll move it down. The Smart Fill took all our breaks away. We don't have any broken lines now. They're all connected. And left click, right click. And this is what's kind of fun. We need to go to Windows, Dockers, Scallop, Fillet, and Chamfer. And see, it's already doing it, but I haven't selected anything, so I need to kind of back up. Take my Shape tool and select just these two nodes. And then I'm going to fillet them 1/4 inch. Fillet them 1/4 inch. Fillet them 1/4 inch. Rounding over is what I really call it. Now, because you're a plasma cutter, and I know you are, I would take out these nodes and see if it holds true, and it does. The less nodes, the better for plasma cutter. I'd actually even try to cut out that node, and any node you can take out. And now I'm not going to do the font because that's not your font, but that's how you would do it. Now he's got several that have multiple, but it'd be the same thing. You would just double it down again. You know, here's one that just has one bar. I actually picked the top one to do. But the next ones would be just as easy. You just need to contour more of a line and maybe even take that shape and contour the whole thing down so you've kind of got a rounded shape like they do on the corners. That's pretty easily done. If you need help with that, just let me know. But that's how I would do it. Hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.